Okay, so in this presentation, I've tried to put, because we're all photographers, I've tried to put metadata. I put metadata in all the pictures that have been taken by me. There are some that are sourced from elsewhere. They won't have the metadata. If you have any questions regarding what I'm talking, just stop me and ask. Otherwise, we'll take it at the end. So photographing tigers in the wild. So tiger is one of the world's most iconic animals. They've captivated people globally, from Bhutan's monastery to Milan's fashion runways. Their depictions are found from paintings of cave dwellers to characters on cereal boxes. And a tiger is like a ghost. See, like Ivan said, they hunt with stealth. They're not known for speed, and they can literally vanish in the foliage or reveal themselves when they want. And that is why there is so much of folklore and superstitions around tigers, and it has been for many, many decades. In fact, there are books. I've got a book here, says The Cult of the Tiger. The entire book is only about, the superstitions and folklore around tigers. Now, that also brings in the medicine man, the person with the snake oil in a bottle, selling magic potions. Every part of a tiger, from the tip of the whisker to the tip of the tail, can be found on the illegal market and is used for medicines, for potions that are known to give supernatural strength and abilities to people who consume them. And it's a huge market, and each tiger is extremely valuable to the poachers who come and try and get that. That's one of the biggest hurdles in conservation of tigers. And through the centuries, some of the bravest have hunted tigers. So about a century back, the Maharajas in India, they were considered brave if they killed 109 tigers in their lifetime. And some of them actually killed more than 109 in a year. Okay, then you had the British officers who were posted there during the British Raj, and hunting was a big thing with them, and tiger hunting was one of their top activities that they would do. So much so that 80,000 tigers were killed between 1875 and 1925 in India alone. Okay, that averages out to about 1,600 tigers killed every year for 50 years. Just let that sink in for a moment. Okay. Now, by 2010, the world tiger population had dropped to 3,200 approximately, from over 100,000 a century back to about 3,200 worldwide population of tigers. Now, approximately 5,600 live in a measly 5% of their historic habitat. It's actually 5,574 to be precise, is what the number that they had put out. But a bit about the habitat. Like Ivan said, a tiger weighs between 300 to 600 pounds. Depending on their weight, a male tiger and the prey that's available, a male tiger would require between 40 to 60 square kilometers of territory. Within that territory, he will have about 3 or 4 female tigers who will live there. Female tigers would give birth to about, say, between 2 and 4 cubs every 2, 3, 4 years. For 2 years, the tigers live with the mother, after which they go on their own. The female tigers are ready to breed when they're about 3 years old, and the male tigers are ready to breed when they are about 4 years old. The male tigers, after they leave the mother, have to go find territory of their own. Otherwise, there'll be clashes. Now, with the shrinking habitat, there's a lot of battles over territory, and tigers are injured and killed in that process as well. Okay, but just imagine 5% of the historic habitat left. Okay, about 75% of the tigers in the world today are found in India. And I think one of the reasons, these are some of the countries where tigers are still found. Okay, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Cambodia, India, Bhutan, Thailand, Indonesia, Laos, China, Malaysia, Russia, Nepal. Myanmar, there is no official figure, but they say that there are tigers there. Now, this turnaround happened because of Project Tiger, which was established in India in 1973. This was done by Indira Gandhi at that time. And they were trying to stop the decline in tiger population. And it took so many years. By 2006, they managed to turn the tide around. So they had to fight not only poaching, they had to fight killing tigers for sport. They had to fight shrinking habitat because of human development, as well as human and tiger clashes because of settlements coming in. Okay. In 2006, there were as low as 1,411 tigers left in India. The 2023 census counted 3,167 tigers. Okay. Today, there are 55 tiger reserves in India. Most have a core zone and a buffer zone. That's what Ivan had mentioned. The core zone is the area where there are no humans living, no human habitat. It's only the tigers, and they allow the tourist vehicle only at specified times, generally between 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. and then from 3 p.m. to about 6 p.m. And that too, the core zones are divided in, the core zone is divided into other pockets, other zones. And a vehicle is only allowed in one zone at a time. And you have to book these about 3 months in advance. And they allow only a limited amount of vehicles in each zone. That means 3 months in advance, the booking of the prime zones get booked up real fast. Okay. And buffer zone is the areas where human habitat is still there and they are trying to relocate them. So that's how they are increasing the tiger reserves. Some reserves, they may not even have tigers right now, but they've designated them as reserves and they are repopulating them. That's life in a buffer zone, you know. So in between Kana and Pench, those are two reserves, they have now built 9 underpasses where wildlife crossings under the national highway. This was a big project completed in 2018, and a lot of wildlife crosses here. Before then, a lot of wildlife were killed in accidents also on the road. So getting the permits required. So you need to get permits to get into the parks. And like I said, there were very limited permits. You got to have them 3 months in advance already booked. Okay. Now, the gear needed. Ivan did talk about the gear that's required. I would say any DSLR or mirrorless body is fine. Two lenses that are two lens range, I would say 70-200, 150 to 600, 200 to 600, even an 800 is a good choice. You are not allowed outside the vehicle. You have to be inside the vehicle. And if the tiger tiger sometimes walks between the vehicle to cross the road. And if you want the full tiger, you probably need a 7200. It's advised that you have two bodies. It's not a good idea to change lenses in between, because with all the vehicles, it can get dusty. We were lucky. It had rained on those days. It wasn't so dusty, but I believe it can get pretty dusty. But you can also, when they come closer, go in for a close-up shot of the head, when they do come close. I was shooting Canon with the Canon R5, and tripod or monopods, like he said, will just be a hindrance. They are not something that I would advise. We are providing, or the lodge provides bean bags, really good camera bean bags on which you can wedge the camera. This particular shot was photographed at 600 mm at 200th of a second with the camera wedged on a bean bag. No tripod, no monopod. So these are the vehicles that we basically go on. And the one on the left, the roof, we had requested to be removed. And on request, I believe the middle seat can also be removed. Now you see on the edge of can you see my cursor? Stephen, can you see the cursor?
Yeah, we can see it,
okay.
Manpreet.
Okay, so on this, you can put the bean bag, you can put it on the back ledge, wherever. Sometimes the tiger is on that side, sometimes on this side. So if you have a tripod like this guy has, it's not a very convenient thing to have. But bean bags, which are thrown over the side, work really well. Okay. Now, the best time of the year, if we look at the entire year, I'll start from June, July. That's when end of June, July, that time the rains start, the monsoon comes in, and the parks get very soggy. In fact, from July to October, the parks are closed because there is so much rain. Then October, the parks open, and after the rain, things are lush and it's very pretty. But the tigers are generally inside the foliage and sightings are quite low. If you do have a sighting, it'll probably make a great picture, but you have to go through many safaris to even get the sightings. By January, February, after February, it starts getting warmer. March, April, it starts warming up quite a bit. May, June is hot. In fact, last month, India hit a record of 53 degrees centigrades. So you can imagine how hot that is. And May is probably a great time to see tigers because they are sitting in the water holes and they know where the water holes are. And another thing, the vehicles are not allowed to go off the road. But the roads do go near the water so that you can have those sightings. If you go in May, you're almost guaranteed. I wouldn't say guaranteed, this is wildlife, you can't guarantee anything, but your sightings are pretty high. But in May, the activity of the tiger is not going to be there because of the heat. They are just sitting in the water. They probably wouldn't be doing much. March and April are 2 months when it's cool enough for them to be active, but hot enough in the day for them to come to the watering holes. So the sightings are the best in the month of March and April. And most tours also happen during those months. So the stays or lodges are really crowded. The place, you got to be booking, be on the ball to book any kind of reserve there. Okay. So out of 55 tiger reserves in India, how would you narrow it down? So, okay, here's my cursor again. Ranthambore, I know Violet mentioned Ranthambore. Ranthambore is a well-known reserve because Delhi is somewhere here. It's drivable distance from Delhi. So Ranthambore is a very popular park to go to, but it's also very crowded. They also have something they're called canter, where it's like a mini bus that goes in. So there is a lot of crowds that go to Ranthambore. Sariska is one park where the tiger population had come down to zero. There were no tigers left there. Now they have relocated some and it's growing, but again, right now it's not a great park to go to. Jim Corbett is another park that is well known. Okay, then you have these parks in central India. This entire area used to be green. It used to be one big, habitat for tigers. Down here also you have a number of reserves, but elephants are more prominent here. Tigers are mostly here. The Sundarbans is another place where there are amazing tigers, but they are very difficult to reach because this is the Delta area. It's got, forests of mangroves, thorny mangroves, and you have islands that keep changing with the water. It's very difficult to get to this place. So no tours happen here, but the tigers are quite amazing. They're uniquely adapted to this area. This area where we are planning our 2025 tours, there's a place called Bandhavgarh. Okay, this has the maximum concentration of tigers in the world. And then there is another park called Kahna. This is the largest reserve in that state. So in India, provinces are known as states. So in the state of Madhya Pradesh, Kahna is the largest. Then you have Pench. Pench is the reserve that inspired Rudyard Kipling to write Jungle Book. Okay, and then Tadoba is where we had gone for the scouting trip, which is actually in the state of Maharashtra. These parks are literally 4 to 6 hours drive from each other. And what we are planning for our next year's tour is Bandhavgarh, Kahna, Pench, and Tadoba. So getting there, Ivan already mentioned, you do need an e-visa. You can get online e-visas done, and you buy your flight to Delhi. And the tours that we are planning will, after you reach Delhi, you don't have to worry about a thing. Okay. Now, finding tigers and other wildlife within the park, that's where it pays to really have the best of best guides. Like you mentioned, Shaheen was absolutely amazing. And you do get a driver and a guide from the park itself, but they change every time. And they are knowledgeable, but they may or may not speak English. Although when I was there, I obviously understood what they were saying because I am from that place. And Shaheen was absolutely amazing in locating these animals. They keep listening for the alarm calls and speak with other drivers. What I've seen over there is the vehicles and the drivers, they're very cooperative. They are not trying to nudge into another vehicle's space or be competitive. They help everyone in the park. And they're very proud of their park. It's very well controlled. And even if they see a piece of plastic or paper on the park, they'll stop and pick it up. Okay, these are some of the other animals. This is sambar deer. They are also the food for the tigers. Now, they do keep a count, like they do keep track of how much food or prey is available in the parks. To answer your question, Steve, they if the prey goes less, they do relocate prey from other areas, but they try and maintain territory in such a manner that if tigers do get too concentrated, they are moved to other parks. But there's no restrictions for tigers itself, except for highways and villages and people habitats. That's a langur. This one was really funny because it wasn't the mother, it was like a small langur trying to look after another small langur, and they could barely manage. And suddenly there was a alarm call and everybody ran. And this one had quite a job keeping the young one with him. That's the sloth bear, like Ivan said. This is what the Baloo the bear character in Jungle Book is modeled on. And it's much smaller than a regular bear. This is a gaur. It's like an Indian wild buffalo. This is sambar deer again. This is an Indian pond heron. This is again photographed from the hide. That's a sunbird. And that's the cormorant he was talking about. And this is a Bengal monitor lizard. You'll find them also everywhere there. Okay, I've got a small video as well that will show our journey there. And it has sound. So I hope the sound comes through. Okay, so Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve. You see, these ones are the trails that are in different zones. Bandhavgarh is where you have the largest concentration of tigers in the world. Here is where the first white tiger was found. Now there are no more white tigers in the wild, they're only in captivity. This is the King's Lodge. In fact, the ground handlers that we are going to go with, they are they're called Pakdandi, and this is one of their properties at Bandhavgarh Lodge. Okay, so this is the Kana Tiger Reserve. Kana Tiger Reserve is the largest in the state of Madhya Pradesh, and this is the Kana Earth Lodge. It's built in less than 10% of natural forest to house it. The lodge and furniture is constructed and designed with local material, waste, and recycled wood. In fact, all their properties are zero single plastic use properties. This is the Pench Tiger Reserve. This is where Rudyard Kipling was inspired to write Jungle Book. And here the stay is going to be in a tree house, which is air conditioned, and it's a luxury tea house with French windows and a deck. And this is where we stayed, Wakoba Eco Lodge at Tadoba Tiger Reserve. Tadoba is now the new hotspot for spotting tigers. They have been growing, like Ivan said, very rapidly there. And tiger sightings at Tadoba have been one of the best. This is, again, Wakoba Eco Lodge. Handmade adobe bricks, Guna wall roof tiles. It basically keeps the place cooler in summer and warmer in winter. And that's about it. This is going to be our tour. We are going to be having the tour from March 22nd to the April 5th of 2025. It's going to be a 15-day, 14-night tour, and we have 6 spots for anybody who would be interested. 2 of us will be going as team leaders, organizing everything. We have 4 wildlife tiger reserves, Bandhavgarh, Kana, Pench, and Tadoba, 16 safaris in all. We reduced it to a special introductory price of $10,497 on twin sharing basis. But as PPOC members or anybody who's on this call, there is also another $500 discount with the discount code there. And it will reduce the price down to $9,997, which is, you will not find this kind of price anywhere. The booking deposit, second installment, final installments are laid out there. That's $2,500. If you put the discount, that's $2,000. And then by second installment in October and then January. Now, if you have any other questions or you want to take a screenshot of this, feel free to go ahead. And if later, book a call with me or with Ivan, and we can answer any questions if you have. Are there any questions now?
Manpreet, just a quick question, not pertaining to your tour, but are any of the tigers known by an identifying feature, or do they give them names, or like
Both.
they would? Both, yeah.
Both. They do have an official name after, not when they're sub-adults. So after they leave the mother when they're 2 years old, they will give them official names. And should I stop sharing this? So they will give them official names when they are leave their mother and become adults. And locals do give them names based on their features or their markings, or they might just give them a local name.
So when they come into view and you're on your safari tour, are they often identified then by their name?
Yes, they are. And Shaheen did tell us the names. I'm sorry, I've forgotten the names. I should have written those down. But yes, they are. All of them are named.
There was Gary, there was Bernie, there was.
Any other question?
Yeah, Manpreet and Evan, is there going to be any other, well, I guess, secondary wildlife opportunities? I understand in the park there's a mix of animals, but or it appears like this tour is completely tiger focused. Is that right?
Yes, it is tiger focused, and there is a addition add-on that I'm planning, which will do Agra and Taj Mahal, and also visit like a bird sanctuary, Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary, which is extremely well known. I'm working on that yet. I will have details later.
Sorry, that having been said too, Steve, there is, like, in the parks, you can focus if you wanted to photograph a leopard like Black Panther or one of the other large fauna, you can try hunting that one specifically there. So we did actually spend a day searching for the Black Panther that had the kill. So yeah, most people would be focusing on the tigers, but within the parks, these parks themselves, you can go whatever animals are available there. You can see, if that's what your question was.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is also another set of wild dogs which are called dhole, which we did hunt. We couldn't find any. We couldn't see any, but they are quite. People have spotted quite a few of them as well. But like, for example, if you want elephants, in Tadoba, there were no elephants, but in other parks, there are. Like, for example, if you want to go and see rhinoceros, that's only in this one specific park in India. So you would go there, you would mainly see that.
Like at some of the lodges too, is there landscape opportunities like after the daily tour is over?
Yeah,
there is landscape opportunities. There is opportunities to go into the village and photograph the local village. In fact, in Kahana, we are planning to do a village visit and visit the local artisans and photograph their lifestyle as well.
More of a cultural component than wildlife.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. Looks interesting.
Yeah.